So in the wake of the hashtag #MeToo movement, I've been warning everybody that we have to be vigilant and careful because I can guarantee you that this is going to be exploited to nefarious and unscrupulous ends. You're going to have a bunch of cretins who use this as a weapon. That's what's going to happen. And now it's been proven. Look at this. Mike Cernovich gets caught with a smoking gun in enormous Chuck Schumer sexual harassment hoax. Listen, I told you, we already covered the article. There were some Hillary supporters who really hate Bernie, who were openly talking about her on social media. Like, okay, all we need is 8 accusations against Bernie. Somebody say, hey, he touched my waist during a picture. Which, by the way, is like, what? If you just put your arm around somebody, it's around their waist. What do you mean? But they say, oh, we're going to define that as sexual assault, say that happened, say Bernie did it, and then boom, we sink, his chances in 2020. We covered the story. It's amazing. There were people who were openly discussing that. Well, now you have an even clearer case, because before they were just plotting it. Here we have hashtag Snowflake Cernovich, who briefly got Sam Cedar fired. Sam Cedar was hired back, thank goodness. But Snowflake Cernovich actually went after Chuck Schumer. So let me explain to you a little bit about what happened here. Charles Johnson, who's another hack, fake journalist on the far right, he and Mike Cernovich got together, and they got a fake document. Now, at this point, it's unknown if somebody else gave them the fake document and they were just duped by that, or if they created it themselves, because they're just that big of liars. But either way, it's a fake document that's supposed to be an accusation, a sexual harassment accusation against Chuck Schumer, paperwork about that from the Senate. Now, here, let me show you some tweets about this. Mike Cernovich said, first Charles Johnson said, Mike Cernovich and I are going to end the career of a U.S. Senator. Wow, I like how they just tweet about this openly. Like, oh, yeah. We're the ones who are doing that. And then Mike Cernovich says, spoke with Chuck Johnson on the phone. He told me he has the full case file. And Charles Johnson says, currently reading the sexual harassment settlement documents of a major Democratic U.S. Senator. What happened? Well, one of the many red flags, so Chuck Schumer, when he got word of this, he immediately called the cops. Because he's like, this is complete and utter nonsense. It's garbage. I've never had any complaints against me like this. So we're going to investigate this. And he's looking to now do a lawsuit against presumably Cernovich and Johnson, because he's like, this is just a malicious, defamatory lie. You've committed libel, slander. This is not legal. We're free speech absolutists in the United States of America. But you can't get away with openly, wrongly accusing somebody of something like that has this much gravity, and by the way, so much evidence on Schumer's side. He's like, I'm not going to let you get away with this. So one of the many red flags is that in this document that was allegedly laying out allegations against Schumer, there's no lawyer listed for the staffer who claimed the allegations. Okay, well, that's weird. In any document like that, you would have a lawyer's name. But it gets worse. The document contains an allegation of inappropriate behavior on September 16th, 2011 in Washington, but Schumer was in New York City. So he has proof, I was in New York City, this date and time, and in the allegation they say, oh, it happened this date and time in Washington, D.C. He's like, I wasn't there. Simply wasn't there. Okay. It contains an allegation of inappropriate behavior again by Schumer on August 25th, 2011 as well, in Washington, but Schumer was in France. Again, proof of that. Okay. Best part. The woman in the document says, the woman who's listed in the document as making the allegations says, the claims in the document are completely false. My signature is forged. And even basic facts about me are wrong. She contacted law enforcement to determine who's responsible for it. And she says she parted with Senator Schumer's office on good terms and have nothing but the fondest memories of my time there. So listen, we actually got somewhat lucky in this instance because Chuck Johnson and Mike Cernovich are either such horrendous liars or they're so stupid and they got duped by something that was so clearly false that there's just a mountain of evidence to the point where it's just proof that they're dead wrong and that Schumer did not do these things. But we got lucky in that sense. Because if these guys were just not blithering idiots, then there could have been successful fake charges that were made against politicians. Look, all you guys have to do is you don't even need to go as far as, oh, hey, we got the documents of the thing that, because those are fake and they could prove that it's fake. But all they would have had to do is, whatever, pay some unscrupulous actor who says, oh, yes, I would, you figure out where Schumer was on some random day fucking 3 or 4 years ago. You go, oh, we were in a restaurant and walking down the hallway and he fucking grabbed me, on my genitals and laughed and then walked away. Anything. And that could be enough to end the career of somebody. So, listen, this isn't me saying, I don't want anybody to misinterpret this as, oh, Kyle is callous and he's not sympathetic to the victims. Of course I am. Of course I am. If there's situations where, I'm convinced by the evidence, which many of these situations, I am convinced by the evidence, whether it's Charlie Rose or whoever, well, then, of course, I have nothing but sympathy for the victims, and it's a very serious problem, powerful men abusing their power in ways like that, and it needs to stop, and shining a light on it to fix it is a good thing. But at the same time, we can't destroy this moment and this movement by being so quick to judgment that we lose our objectivity. And, this isn't, whether it's the fake allegations that were plotted against Bernie, whether it's, and I don't like Chuck Schumer. Like, that's the funny thing is, like, I really dislike him. He's almost a perfect example of a useless neoliberal Democrat. I mean, he's the senator from New York, and he's nowhere near as progressive as New Yorkers. So he's a failure in my mind. Way too corporate. Terrible. But facts are facts. And he didn't do he didn't do sexual assault. And when there's fake allegations, it's terrible. It's terrible and it's wrong. And I support him in his legal actions against these malicious smear merchants. And I hope he wins. And I hope there's consequences for guys like Mike Cernovich and Charles Johnson because they don't care. They don't give a fuck if they're lying. They're disgusting liars, and their whole purpose is to smear people. So if they get taken down a few pegs, that's a wonderful thing. And even though Chuck Schumer's a guy I don't agree with, I fully support him in going against these people who tried to tarnish him in the most over-the-top and horrendous ways.